Hello, and my name is Alexis, and I'm back with another book review video. This time is part 2 that I promised, and I'm going to do a part 2 on both The Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah Maas and The Crescent City, which is her most recent series that she started. I can't think right now. Oh well. We'll get through this. We'll start, of course, with Court of Thorns and Roses. This is the first book, and I do like this series. But as I reread it, the first book, it does the job. Same thing with like the first book and like the last. It does the job. It interests you. It gets you interested in the series. But also, my thing is the main character just has a tendency to be a bit of an unreliable narrator. So as the more you read it, the more you realize that it kind of, I don't know. She's not the best, but also she's also young too, so take that as it is. Anyways, so I'm probably going to rate it like, it gets 7.5. No, it does the job, it gets you interested, it's still good, you know, it gets you invested into the story, but you know it gets better. We'll start with the second book, which is The Court of Mist and Ruins. And now, as you can see, it gets substantially larger. You know, there's a lot more that goes on, a lot more that happens. I do like the second book because we meet a lot more of, like, you know, we see a lot more happening in the second book. You know, things. We also meet Rhysand, you know, and we also meet just a lot more characters, and just... Anyway, so I would have to say that's probably definitely... I would have to give it an 8.5. It's definitely better than the first one. The first one does its job. It gets you interested. This one keeps you interested. So it's definitely an 8.5. And then there's the third book, A Court of Mist and Ruins. And now, I also noticed, and spoiler alert, so if you don't want to be spoiled, if you haven't read, you know, spoiler alert, if you haven't read like any of these or gotten this far, spoiler alert. Skip through to hear what I'm saying. Probably for like the next 30 seconds. Just skip through it. I also noticed that the ending of this is very similar to the ending of the newest Crescent City book. But I'm not going to say any more. So keep that in mind. For people who, you know, keep that in mind if you've already read it. Go back and read it again. So yeah, but it's very good. You also get more from like favorite sisters. This might be an unpopular opinion, but Nesta is I actually like Nesta more than I like Feyre. Feyre's just very unreliable. And I don't know. There's something about her that irks me sometimes. I don't know if it's anyone else, but I don't know. There's something real about Nesta that, like, I don't know. I can vibe with. Anyways, so I give this book. Probably give this a 9. I think it's a solid 9. And then we're gonna move over. We're gonna say the last 2 and go to the first book in Crescent City series. Now, this series is vastly different. It's a bit more modern than the other 2 series. The other 2 series seem like they're a bit kind of behind the times. This one has like a lot more. It's more, when you read it, you can kind of feel like it's more, just more modern. I actually love this series. I don't think I can give this, starting off, I can't give it worse than it has to be a 9 for me. Like, I actually love the Crescent City books. I think they're probably some of my favorites, you know, in the whole series. So I have to give it a 9. You know, it's got my heart. I have to give it a 9. Same thing with 2. Like, this is the second book in the Crescent City series. It's just so good. Obviously, like, I mean, look, it's like thick too. Like, it's a long read. It's just so good. I mean, I love another spoiler, I also realized reading it that the personality is between Bryce and Rhysand. They're almost exactly the same person. I don't know why. which if you read the third book, you'll probably notice that something else. But I'm not going to do any spoilers. That's my intake. So obviously, I'm going to give this. I have to give it. I'm going to give it. Let's see. Let's do a 9.5. Let's do a 9.5. Okay, we're going to go back. Sorry about that. Okay, sorry. Brief little interruption. Anyways, we're going to go back. This is just a tiny little book. It's, I don't know if it would be considered prequel. It's not really. It's like a intermission almost between like what happens in the third book of ACOTAR and then the fourth book. It's like a brief little like pause. It's good. It's decent. I mean, I would say it's like an 8. You know, it kind of just gives a bit more like reconstruction after everything that happened in the war. Everyone's healing and all that stuff. And then we get to this book, which is my absolute fave. This is Nesta's book, A Court of Silver Flames, and I have to say, I give this a 10. Because like I said I absolutely love Nesta. I think she's a great character. Other people might not, and that's your choice. No, this is my opinion, but I have to give this a 10. This is like one of my favorites. And also another thing is that this is the third book in Crescent City. I also have to give this a 10. I thought this answered so many questions, but also brought up new questions as well. Like, it answered so much, not just in terms of like what happened in the rest of the Crescent City series, but so much that happened in all the series. But yet it also like brought up new things so that you obviously know there's probably going to be another book, because there's also questions that are raised in terms of like all of it. I loved it. I know some people didn't, and that's your choice. If you didn't like it, that's entirely, you know, we all have our own opinions. I have to give this a 10. I thought it was very good. So these two are definitely my two top favorites, Court of Silver Flames, and then House of Flame and Shadow. Those, I have to give them a 10. I absolutely love those books. I loved, from Hofast, I loved Lydia and Rue's relationship. That was my favorite, I honestly have to say. Seeing their relationship blossom. But yeah. And that's me rating these series. If you tuned in, thanks for watching. Have a very good day. Hit that like button down below. It helps. Subscribe if you're new. I would love to have you. And let me know what else you want me to let me know in the comments what else you want to see me do. No? So thank you. Peace.